we are going to start our discussion with industrial ownership and functions of management and principles of management, business organization, forms of ownership, types of organization, types of ownership, all convey the same meaning for industrial ownerships. To start a business, the most important thing that we need is capital. Types of ownership. There are various types of ownership: single ownership, partnership, joint stock companies, cooperative organizations. Single ownership can be defined as title to and possession of assets of the enterprise, power to determine the policies of operation, and the right to receive and dispose of the proceeds. This can be defined as a single ownership form. Individual exercises full rights in this type of ownership. He enjoys all the rights. Business owned by one man in case of single ownership forms. Advantages. Let us look at the advantages in case of single ownership. The advantages are: it is easy to establish, there is simplicity in organization hierarchy is very limited, hence it is easy to and simple to organize. The starting expenses in this single ownership are minimum. The owner is free to make all decisions. It is simple, easy and flexible to operate, and owner enjoys all the profits. There is a good deal of personal motivation, and it has minimum legal restrictions associated in this single ownership. Owner can keep secrecy about the raw material and also about the manufacturing procedures. Secrecy can be maintained, trade secrets can be maintained in this. It is easy to discontinue when the owner wishes to discontinue the business. Disadvantages. When we look at the disadvantages in single ownership, it is liable for obligations for all the debts and losses of the company. Owner is personally liable, and the money, ability and experience as inputs are minimum in case of single ownership, because it has a limited money, lacks experience, and also necessary skill is also not available, because one person manages the entire firm, and it is difficult to raise the capital because the business in this is unstable, and investors will not come forward for investing money in this. There is unlimited liability associated with this for the debts and losses of the company, because even the personal property of the single owner will be claimed by the creditors to settle their debts. There is limited employee rewards. The people who are working in single ownership will have limited economic rewards, because he doesn't have any profit sharing in that, and this company has limited life. This firm has limited life because the death of the owner will terminate the business. Applications where single ownership can be applied is there for the small firms, small engineering firms, retail trades, service organizations with small capital can be started with single ownership, and the entire business carried on by a single person. In that case also single ownership is suitable. Single ownership is suitable only with the businesses that are with the least risk. Partnership. Next business organization is partnership. So single owner becomes inadequate, and he may not be able to provide sufficient inputs to start a company. When the industry grows, this single owner may not be sufficient to start the industry, and as the business grows, the single owner becomes inadequate with the capital may not be sufficient enough, and also it has to associate more persons. He wishes to associate more persons. In that case, partnership is desired. Partnership can be defined as a relation between the persons who have agreed to share the profits and carried on by all, or any of them acting for all. It is an association of two or more persons up to 20. It is based on an agreement, defines authorities, duties and responsibilities, specifies how profits and losses will be divided in writing. Kinds of partners. There are two kinds of partners. One is active partners, the other is sleeping partners. So active partners take active part in the firm, management of the firm. Sleeping partners will not have any active part in the management, they only share the profits or losses. But both active partners and sleeping partners are responsible for the debts and losses of the firm. The general duties of partnership firm. The partners have to be just and faithful, and they have to show the true accounts and financial statements and the position of the company to the other members, cooperate and accommodate with each other. They must have trust and confidence with each other. Views of the members must be respected. Partnership types. In case of partnership types, there are two types of partnerships. One is general partnership and limited partnership. There are two types of partnerships. Let us discuss about the general partnership. Partnership in general partnership. So each has, in case of general partnership, each has full agency powers and may bind partnership by any act of each partner. The actions of each partner affect other partners, and additional partners can be had with the consent of other partners. Advantages of general partnership. In this general partnership, large capital is available, better talents, judgment and skills can be had, it is easy to form and inexpensive, incentive for success is high. Still more advantages are there. There is a definite legal status exists in case of general partnership, and partners have full control over the business, full rights to profits. So they can enjoy all the profits of the company, and they can enjoy all the rights of the company, and they can have tax advantages exist. They can borrow money easily. Losses, for losses there are more persons to share with. Disadvantage in general partnership. It is unlimited liability. It has unlimited liability. The persons who have invested, the lenders who have kept money, the creditors can claim their personal belongings along with the business property to settle their claims. It is unlimited liability. And disagreement and distrust among the partners also exist. Authority being divided, it has limited life. The death of one person will dissolve the company, they dissolve the partnership form, and lenders hesitate to lend money because of its unstable nature, and wrong step of one partner will suffer all the partners. If a person takes a wrong step, if the firm becomes loss, the loss will be spread over to all the partners, everybody will suffer in that. If we discuss about the limited partnership, in case of limited partnership, it is an association of one or more general partners and one or more limited partners whose liability is limited, and limited partners share the profit, but they don't interfere in the management of the firm. Advantages: it has limited liability. In case of limited partnership, partners who has invested their money are having limited liability. To the extent of the investment of the money in the firm, they are responsible. Their personal belongings are safe in this, and the investors can invest without any risk. Disadvantages: limited partners has no voice in the management. Limited partners normally they should not be able to determine the policies of the company because they have no voice, they have no say in the management. Another form of company is joint stock company. So joint stock company is an association of shareholders. It is joined together for profit and agree to supply capital, shares that are transferable in case of joint stock company. So it is an association of shareholders who form together to share the profits, and they agree to supply capital in the form of shares, and these shares are transferable. Death, insolvency, disablement, lunacy not affect the company. Hence, the company is permanent in nature, and it consists of more than 20 persons. There are more people associated with the joint stock companies. It gives all these shareholders will give a name to the company, and they also mention the purpose of the company. They state the nature and the amount of the money that is to be raised. They submit a proposal to the Register of Joint Stock Companies. Register issues a certificate for the starting of the company. Board of directors are the managing agents for a joint stock company. They are elected by the shareholders. The board of directors makes the policies. Board of directors takes decisions and runs the company efficiently. The liability with the joint stock companies is limited, and the risk of money is limited to the money they have invested in the company. The finance can be raised by issuing shares, debentures, bank loans, and loans from industrial and financial institutions. Types of joint stock company. There are different types of joint stock companies are there. One is private limited company, and the other one is public limited company. In case of private limited company, the capital collected from private members, they may be either active or sleeping members. The restricts the right to transfer shares and debentures. In case of private limited company, there is a restriction for the transfer of shares, and they avoid public to take debentures in the private limited company. It is amount is raised from friends and relatives. Members can be between 2 and 50. In case of joint stock companies or private limited company, they need not file documents. They need not obtain a certificate of commencement of business. They need not circulate balance sheet, profit and loss account among the members. They need not circulate financial statements like balance sheet, profit and loss account among the members. and they hold annual general meeting every year. They place financial statements in the meeting. They must get accounts audited by the auditors. They send the annual return to the members as well as to the registrar of the company. A certificate not having shareholders more than 50, a certificate to the extent of stating that shareholders are not more than 50 must be submitted to the registrar of joint stock companies. Public limited company. If we come to the public limited company, capital raised from the public in the form of shares. Large capital can be raised in case of public limited company in the form of shares with small face value. Shareholders in this not less than 7. There is no limit to the maximum. Shareholders can be as high as, there is no maximum limit, but there should be minimum of 7 members in this. They file documents. It needs to file documents like consent of directors, list of directors, directors contract, along with memorandum of association and articles of association to the register of joint stock companies. Issue prospectus to the public. The public limited company is supposed to issue prospectus to the company. It should allot shares within 180 days from the date of prospectus. It must receive a certificate stating that commencement of business certificate must be get from the register of joint stock companies. It should hold statutory meeting and also issue statutory report to the members as well as to the register of joint stock company. There is no restriction on transfer of shares. Directors subject to rotation, account audited by registered auditors every year. Communicate financial statements. Hold general meeting every year in case of public limited companies. The managing agent gets a fixed percentage. The managing agent in public limited companies, they will get fixed percentage from the net profit as their remuneration. Advantages in public limited company. A huge sum of money can be raised. It has limited liability. This liability is very important for the investors and shareholders who are investing money in the company, because in case of private limited companies and single ownership, the liability is unlimited. The creditors can take personal belongings of the investors in case of failure of the business, whereas in case of public limited company, the liability is very much limited to the extent of the money they have invested. Shares are transferable in this, hence it is a stable and permanent company. Services of specialists can be obtained. So in case of public limited companies, services of specialists can be obtained by paying huge salaries to the specialists who can serve the company with their better skills and experience. So since there is a large money in this, services of specialists can be hired in this. Loss is divided among many shareholders. All the losses can be divided among them because there are so many to share with. Disadvantages. So the first and foremost disadvantage associated with public limited companies are legal formalities are more. There are so much of legal work has to be performed before commencing the business. Moreover, this public limited company is managed by big shareholders. That means the entire company management is lying with big shareholders with highest capital invested in the company. It is not democratic in managing, and officials hired will manage the entire company without any personal interest, because they are not personally rewarded from the profits. Hence officials manage without any much interest in the company and commit frauds. In this the people may commit frauds with the company. Directors and managers have insider information. So directors and managers have insider information, and they will know how the shares are going down and how the shares are going up of the company, and they can take advantage. While shares are low, they will try to buy it, and while shares are growing, they will try to sell the shares. Depending upon the company, if the company is going to be loss, they will try to sell their shares at a high cost, and if the company is making profits, they will try to purchase the shares at a low price. They have that inside information. And it is difficult to maintain secrecy. So no trade secrets can be maintained in case of joint stock companies. Difficult to attain team spirit. All our paid officials manage the entire company, and there is no team spirit. It is difficult to achieve team spirit, and responsibility is divided among many members. Application. Where these joint stock companies are applied are the very large industries like steel plants and fertilizer factories, and also heavy engineering industries like heavy electricals and heavy plates and vessels. All the large companies must go for a public limited company. Hence the money involved in starting the company is very large. Next comes cooperative organization. This is another type of industrial ownership. In case of cooperative organizations, the features are like it eliminates profit, provide goods and services at cost. So in this there is no profit motive in cooperative organizations, and it provides goods and services at the cost price that are available in the market with the manufacturer. Members buy shares, profits are distributed to them. Each member in a cooperative has only one vote, avoids control in few hands. Cooperatives, it is totally democratic, because each and every member has only one vote, not more than one vote, because it is not proportional to the money invested. Hence it is democratic in leadership. And shareholders, board of directors, elected officers will be there. Meetings will be conducted with the shareholders. Special laws, formation and taxation. There are always existing special laws for the formation and taxation in case of cooperative organizations. Cooperative organization is a voluntary democratic ownership, obtaining necessities of the daily life for the members. The principle of cooperation is the principle of cooperatives is self-help and mutual cooperation. Types of cooperatives. There are various types of cooperatives. They are, first one is consumers cooperatives. This is for a retail trade and services. For the retail trade and services, consumers cooperatives can be used. These we find in educational institutions, and some big companies will form their cooperative societies for their daily necessities to purchase without any middleman. So middleman will be avoided while buying daily necessities. There are producer cooperatives. These producer cooperatives are designed for group buying and selling. So for a dairy products, all the farmers of dairy produce, they form as a group and they will sell milk to the dairy, and for this group buying and selling, these producers cooperatives are formed. Cooperative farming. For more and good quality yield, there is cooperative farming. So several acres of land is formed as a cooperative, and as a group they will cultivate for the better yield and better pesticide management. There are cooperative housing. So cooperative housing, cooperative housing with this construction and providing houses at rates lesser than the market rates with this kind of cooperative housing. And there is a cooperative credit society. So these cooperative credit societies, they provide loans to the needy individuals. Financial assistance will be given by the cooperative credit societies. Advantage of these cooperative organizations. The daily necessities can be had at lower rates. It is democratic in ownership. The members provide honorary services. The members in cooperative organization provide honorary services. They don't work for salary. hence the money can be saved in the form of salary and overheads can be minimized. Promote cooperation, mutual assistance, self-help. It builds a spirit of cooperation among the members. Hoarding, black marketing eliminated. No one makes a huge profit. Common man is benefited with cooperatives. Goods purchased directly sold at less rates. Normally with cooperatives, goods are purchased direct from the manufacturers. Thereby, they can get the products at cost price, and the overheads can be and middlemen can be totally avoided, and the prices of products in cooperatives will be at much lesser rates. Disadvantages: members manage not competitive. Members manage the cooperatives are not competitive enough to deal with the situations of business, because these people are not having any commercial exposure, because the members are working as honorary. The finance is limited in this. Conflict arise while sharing the responsibilities. Personal advantage can be taken by the office bearers. Office bearers may take personal advantage in cooperatives. They work in the part-time. Next, we will go to the scientific management. Scientific management is related to management. In the early decades of 20th century, the idea of scientific management is given by F.W. Taylor. He got recognition as father of scientific management, who gave and made steps for scientific management. It is a rational, systematic approach to work and to manage work. At operative level, in case of scientific management, planning is needed, standardizing is needed, improving human effort are the objectives of scientific management. It is maximize output, with minimum input. Facts and measurement. The facts must be established with objective nature, and they must be measured. The facts are to be measured in scientific management. The knowledge and scientific methods. It involves only purely the application of knowledge, and scientific methods have given priority in scientific management. Harmony must be there, cooperation must be there, development of worker is also needed. Development of workers who are working in a company is very much essential for the efficient working and efficient production in a company. Development and trainings are needed. And analyze work scientifically. Work must be analyzed scientifically by using time and motion studies. Provide specific guidelines. Develop best way of doing a job. Scientific management involves in the development of doing a job in the more scientific approach. Select suitable workers, train, develop workmen, divide work, share equally. So the work must be divided between the management and the workman, and the day's work must be divided between the management and workman equally. Workers work with methods. The methods are to be established to make the workers work in those established methods. Management. The job of management is to plan and make ready things. Management plans the work and it readies the things that are necessary to continue the work. Economic rewards must be given for efficient and productive workers. Next comes the functions of management. In functions of management, scientists specified some functions in various ways, and they can be abbreviated as Project COB or Project COOC. Project COB or Project COOC. With that we can define all the functions. See, P is taken as from Project COB as planning. P, planning. So plans for future. planning, rational, economic, systematic way. What, who, where. Normally in planning, we plan for the future. And planning is a rational, economic and systematic way it shows. And what will be done in future, who will do it and where it will be done, these are all to be determined before doing any work. Planning is essential. Planning is essential for utilizing facilities. Government plans its budget. Without planning, confusion, ineffective, jeopardy. Without planning, there will be confusion in the company. So it will be ineffective in achieving the items, and things will be in jeopardy in a company. Cannot fulfill targets. Without planning, we cannot fulfill the targets. O is organizing. In positive corp, O refers organizing. Organizing means relating persons with work is called organization. Each and every person is given a specific activity or a specific job. Assignment of jobs to the men or persons is called organizing. Determining in this organizing, first we have to determine the activities, and grouping the activities may be done, and they are formulated into a job, assigning persons to those jobs. Specify authority and responsibility of each and every person in the organization. And next function is S, staffing. Staffing means selecting, training, promoting, retiring personnel, development and placement of people. The personnel working in an organization must be developed, trained to suit the new positions in the company. It is a continuous process. Staffing is continuous. People will retire and some new recruits will join. It is a continuous process. D is for directing. It is giving instructions. Directing involves in giving instructions to the subordinates, guiding subordinates, supervising specifications. So it involves, directing involves in giving instructions, guiding the subordinates, and also supervising the workmen and subordinates while working, whether they are working according to the specifications that are formally laid. CO stands for coordinating in positive corp. Coordinating can be defined as linking the efforts of all the resources, whether human or materialistic resources. Linking, every effort in an industry must be linked. It is the function of a management to link all the efforts. It is achieving harmony in the work and integrate the entire work. It is ineffective coordination ruins the results of an organization. Coordination is very important. Every effort must be coordinated. Various departments must be coordinated, like say sales department must be coordinated with the production department, because production department people have a tendency to produce what is convenient to them, but sales people's interest is to get products from the production department that are needed by the customers. Customers decide the sales figures, and production department will try to escalate their figures to show their annual targets, but here there won't be any coordination. Hence the proper coordination will solve the problem. R is reporting. So a reporting mechanism must be there. Progress is reported and information needed must be furnished to the management. Reporting is essential. B is budgeting. Income and expenditures must be budgeted proper in advance. Helps notice deviations. Budgeting identifies any deviations, what is budgeted and what is actually happening in the field. Controlling can be defined as reporting and budgeting can be removed from controlling. Reporting can be taken to controlling, and budgeting can be taken to planning, and this RB from positive co-op can be removed. Reporting and budgeting can be removed and can be kept in controlling and planning. Controlling involves in feedback, corrective action. What is feedback? We'll see. Getting reports while work is in progress is called a feedback. And monitoring activities. Monitoring activities involves identifying deviations, keeping track of activities. Any deviation must be identified and activities must be kept track of. Corrective action. Corrective action is initiated whenever the work is on off schedule, when the work is not sticking to the schedule, corrective action must be initiated. Activities must be brought back to the schedule to stick to the schedule of operations. Next comes principles of management. There are some principles laid by Henry Fayol, a French theorist. He enunciated some principles. He listed out 14 principles, of which the first one is division of work. Division of work, it leads to specialization. Work is divided, various tasks. Person working on the same job repeatedly works with efficiency. In the division of work, he has introduced the principle of specialization, like according to the aptitude of the workman, the job must be assigned, and when a person is repeatedly working on the same job, will be efficient and more productive in that particular job. This is the principle of specialization and kept in division of work. Advantages: it gains proficiency and skill, production rate increases with the division of work, product quality improves, it improves the methods of doing work as well. And if we come to the disadvantages, work becomes routine and lose interest. Workers will doing the same job repeatedly, they will lose interest in their work. And monotony and boredom. So by repeatedly working the same job, monotony and boredom will be there. Workers not flexible, because they are repeatedly working on the same job, not very flexible. Workers are not flexibly placed in others' places. Next principle is authority and responsibility. Authority can be defined as the power to issue commands. Responsibility can be defined as accountability. Authority is the power to issue commands, and the responsibility is to hold accountability for the work that is assigned. These two, authority and responsibility, they should go hand in hand, otherwise there will be problem. Authority without responsibility. Let us look at authority without responsibility is disastrous, dangerous and unjust. Responsibility without authority, it is pathetic, nobody cares. Suppose a person is entrusted totally with the responsibility without any authority of sanctioning of leave or any cash rewards. He is only having the responsibility means his life will be pathetic and no subordinate will care about that person. There should be authority along with responsibility. If there is only authority, it will be unjust. If he is having only responsibility, he will not be able to fulfill the task because he is not having authority. And there should be a judicious delegation. Authority and responsibility must be judiciously delegated with proper trade-off about the size of authority and the size of responsibility must be judged and properly delegated. Next principle is discipline. So discipline is a prerequisite for the efficient function of any company. Discipline involves obedience, appropriate wear, outward marks of respect. In discipline, there should be obedience from the subordinates to the superior, and also workers should properly dress so that they will not be they can be identified as workers with a discipline, and they should also have outward marks of respect. They should not be arrogant in their work. There should be some outward marks of respect. Then only we can say that the organization is having discipline. It is one of the prerequisite for the efficient function of an organization. Management. Unity of command. In this unity of command, orders and instructions, one boss. So orders and instructions must come from one superior. There should not be multiple superiors who are directing various commands. So that situation will confuse the workers whether to listen to the one superior or to the several superiors. It causes confusion, and the worker will try to shift work by getting multiple instructions from the superiors. That is to avoid that there should be unity of command. That means command should come from only one boss. Command should come from only one boss. And multiple bosses create confusion, mistakes and delays. Unity of direction. There should be one plan and one head. A common objective as a whole. Unity of direction. There should be one head for one plan. Because for sales people and production people, there should be only one boss. Otherwise, sales people will act in their sales interest. They will not care for the production people, and the production people will act in their own interest. They will not care for the sales requirements. Hence, if the sales department and production department are having the same head, he will control the both in the interest of the company. Subordination of another principle is subordination of individual interest to general interest. Actually, interest of the individual must be satisfied, must be sacrificed to the general interest of the organization. The company's interest is more important than the individual interest. Remuneration. Remuneration is the salary paid to the workman and the personnel who are working in a company. Remuneration must be fair and just. If there is more remuneration, it attracts better people to work and the company will be efficient. It is a substantial motivator. And centralization. So centralization, decision making with center lies with the center and not in the field. Every decision must be taken by the central head office, not in the field. Every problem is reported back to the center, that is to the head office. Then you will get an integrated better solution from the center. Decisions are delayed, that is the disadvantage in case of centralization. Next, scalar chain or hierarchy. Organization is in the shape of pyramid. At the apex, there will be a president or a chairman who is at the top. At the bottom, frontline officers will be there. In the middle, in between, there are several levels in the middle management level. They are connected. In this scalar chain, each and every position is connected by authority and responsibility relationships. Order. Order means there should be an order in the industry. There is a place for everything and everything has its place. Everything should be placed in an order so that everything must be placed in an order so that we can find right people in right positions. Equity. This is a very important principle. Equal treatment of subordinates is to be maintained by the boss. Otherwise, only the person who are getting the favor of the boss will work and cooperate, and the remaining people will try to seek work. So, to get the complete cooperation from the workers, equity should be maintained, equal treatment of all. Stability. Stability of tenure is also more important as a principle, because stability, without stability we cannot they will try to learn the work. Otherwise, learning curve is damage the work efficiency. Initiative. Initiative is acting without prompting. So that is also needed from the side of the workers. It should be encouraged. Esprit de corps. Esprit de corps is a French word, and which is stating that there should be developed a spirit of harmony among the people, and teamwork principles must be developed. Friendliness and this understanding must be divided. Understanding must be provided. Divide and rule among the workers must be totally avoided. These are the 14 principles that Henry Fayol has given as 14 principles. So these are the principles that are given by Henry Fayol, and who has given as principles of management. These will work as guiding principles for management of any organization. And these management principles, though there is some criticism for them, but they are still working as valid principles for the people who are practicing these principles. Okay, and